Welcome to Aliens vs. Predator 2, a classic sci-fi shooter. This review is going to be a bit different, as we have 3 playable characters. I'll go over our gameplay and story in order. First off is the Marine. If you've played a first-person shooter before, it's pretty much that. You are pretty squishy though, as xenomorphs will just rip you apart if they get close, so don't let them. You have the advantage at range. Use your motion tracker, keep your head on a swivel, and always check those corners. The game also has a dismemberment system. For instance, you can blow off a xenomorph's legs and it won't be able to run or leap at you, making them way less of a threat. I found aiming for the legs with a shotgun to work out pretty well, as even if you miss it will still more than likely hit some part of it, although it is pretty slow to pump and reload. That and the acid blood could kill you too as it sprays out from them. Speaking of the guns, you get all the weapons from the movies and they feel pretty good to use, like the smart gun. I friggin' love this gun, it just rips through bugs like butter, although it also goes through its ammo pretty fast. The pulse rifle also is pretty good to use, although its grenade launcher felt a bit weak. I don't think I had a single thing with grenades, which is a shame. You also get some new weapons, like the minigun, and it's actually a pretty good minigun. It's pretty much a mulcher, anything you point at will wind up in tiny pieces. There was also the sniper rifle, but, well, xenomorphs don't really stay at range, you know? All the weapons had alternate fire modes or ammo types. Take this grenade launcher for example, it's got 5 different ammo types. I found some to be better than others though, like proximity mines working way better than the time grenades. The proximity mines also stick to surfaces while the grenades just bounce around. Although you can get killed by your own mines, so you have to watch out for them. I found the Marines gameplay to be pretty fun. The only issue I have with it is that in some levels you don't have that many health pickups. I got stuck for a while due to having so little health that all it took was a stiff breeze to kill me. Other than that, it was great fun. On to the Marines story and design. You play as Corporal Frosty Harrison, a Marine who somehow keeps surviving all the crazy shit that happens to him. Might be why he has that 1,000-yard stare of his. Anyway, 6 weeks ago Weyland-Yutani lost contact with a research base on LV-1201. You won the distance lottery, and while you're understaffed from your last mission, you're going anyway. Oh, and since Weyland-Yutani wants the research base intact, no airstrikes or cool exosuits for you. So we touched down on the planet with minimal issues.
What the?
And man, would you look at this place. It's very Aliens inspired. I like it. Oh, and I love how tense this level is. You don't see a xenomorph for a good bit. All you hear and see is a predator stalking you. Hell, the predator can even kill you in this level if you're not careful. It was pretty intense finding all the hanging corpses and stuff. I really don't want to spoil the story for you since the game's free, and the story's pretty good actually. No, really, there's even extra lore bits like notes and stuff that you can read that are pretty interesting as well and build upon the characters. For instance, there's a little side story where you can find notes written between guards and inmates and how they tried to survive the xenomorph outbreak. They didn't, but it's still a cool story. There was one section that wasn't as good as the others though, and that's the pods. You fight Weyland Mercs and well, it's not as fun as the xenomorphs were. That and you don't have your gear. No pulse rifle, no flashlight, no flamethrower sadly. You do get it all back after that section though. Other than that, it was a pretty fun campaign. I don't really have any problems with it. On to the greatest hunters in the galaxy, the Predators. The Predator plays a little bit different. Remember how I said the Marine was squishy? Yeah, double that for the Predator. All it takes is 3 guards to kill you. One, if you're unlucky, as the shotguns hurt a lot. So you gotta use stealth. Cloak and sneak up behind him and rip him apart. The Predator does a ton of damage up close, as they should. Speaking of things that rip people apart, the Predator gets most of the stuff from the movies. The wrist blades, bolt caster, the deadly frisbee, and some new weapons like the spear gun. It's pretty much a sniper rifle that takes heads clean off for easy trophy hunting. Although you don't get any extra ammo for weapons with limited ammo, like said spear gun, so you gotta aim carefully and retrieve the spears afterwards. I mean, where else would you find ammo for these type of weapons? The Predator also doesn't have any health pickups or charge stations for their tech. So how are you supposed to heal and charge your gear? Well, stab yourself with these knives of course. I have no idea how or why this works, but it does. To charge your stuff you pull out this thing that shoots electricity everywhere. It also alerts everyone nearby, so you gotta be careful using it unless you want the shotgun surprise. The Predator can also jump a hell of a lot further than the Marine does. You can leap around if you crouch jump. You have to use it to get to places sometimes, so make sure to check around. There's also the trophy counter. All it does is count how many heads you have taken. No, really that's all it does. There's no other gameplay mechanic. It's a pretty neat detail though. I like it. I found the Predator to be pretty fun to play as. Stalking around hunting humans is pretty fun. Although the xenomorphs can see right through your cloak. That, and since they rip you apart so fast, I just wound up hopping around using the bolt caster on them. It was really the only weapon that worked effectively against them too, sadly. Shame that as a Predator I couldn't really stand toe-to-toe with Xenomorph in melee combat. Other than that, it was pretty fun. Onto the Predator's story and design. You play as Prince, and you and the boys decide to hunt on this little planet full of hairless apes and deadly penis head monsters. After hunting some apes in the Praetorian in the first level, your mates get captured by Weyland-Yutani. I'm sure that'll go very well for Weyland-Yutani. Now it's up to you to rescue your mates and kill everyone. And I really do mean everyone. Everyone's a target now. Along the way, you meet up with General Rykov, a man who survived a Predator attack years ago, and holds a major grudge for what you did back then. Yes, it was Prince that did it. Yes, I know it's very convenient. The very same Predator shows up years later. Shut up. The Predator's campaign is pretty much a reversal of a Predator movie. You as a Predator hunting down General Rykov and try and restore your honor via taking his skull. Pretty fun and great story. I really like General Rykov as a character in the Iron Bears. They were pretty fun to fight. And General Rykov actually cared about his men enough to actually send them away from the Predator fight at the end of the game. That's pretty ballsy. Anyway, most of the maps look good and allow you to sneak around. Most of them. The pod levels didn't allow much of that to them just being corridors. That, and they take your gear away, so that means no heals, no cloak, and no vision modes. You do thankfully get your gear back though at the end of it. There was also this Alien Queen boss fight along the way to Rykov. It wasn't that good as it was just an empty arena, and she'll just shred you in close combat if you get close. And you run out of energy for your boltcaster pretty fast in it. And due to it taking so long to recharge your gear, if you try you'll just die. So just pull out the combi stick and whack her to death with it. Anyways, onto the alien. The alien plays very, very different from the others, in that she only has melee. The game wants you to think you gotta be sneaky as a xenomorph. Yeah, no, you're a goddamn blender. Anything that's within punching distance will just turn to hamburger. Except the Predators. They have a good bit of health and all it takes is one bolt cast shot to kill you. Oh yeah, they also lock onto you as well. That's pretty fun, ain't it? That's fun. Anyway, you can also leap at peeps. It's an instant kill on anything that's not a Predator. You can also stun a peep if you whip them with your tail. Combo that with the head bite for easy kills. If it's not a Predator. You can also, of course, climb up walls in the ceiling. It's a bit nausea-inducing though. I mean, just look at this. Ugh. Thankfully, you don't really need to use it much. Also, to heal, you have to eat dead bodies, so everyone's a walking medkit for you. Onto the alien story and design. You play as, well, a xenomorph. You start out as a facehugger looking for a host, then a chestburster, and then finally the drone. Pretty cool going through the life cycle of the xenomorph. You then proceed to rip and tear through everything in sight trying to free the artificial hive. Along the way, you encounter the head researcher Eisenberg. He wants to take the Empress away. You gotta stop him. So kill everything that moves. And that's the alien story. Yep, that's it. There's no notes to read or anything. I mean, can you imagine seeing the fucking xenomorph reading a note? I found playing Alien to be pretty fun. It was also pretty short as well, so it didn't outstay its welcome. The levels looked nice and were a mix of Aliens and Alien 3. They also had lots of ambush places so you could drop in from the ceiling and stuff. It was pretty cool. Overall, the single player had lots of content to go through, and I found most of it to be pretty fun. The Aliens boss fight against the two Predators wasn't though. Loved them using the one-hit kill bolt caster on you anytime you dare show your face. Other than that, a pretty good bunch of single player modes. I'd highly recommend playing through them at least once. What about multiplayer, you ask? Well, I would show it off, but every time I looked on the server browser, it was deader than a doornail, so I can't really say much about it. Oh, if you do want to get multiplayer back, you gotta install the Master Server patch. I'll have links to both the game and its patches in the description below. Also, bring friends along to play its multiplayer since it's dead. And that was Alien vs Predator 2, a classic game that shouldn't ever be forgotten. Thanks for watching and have fun. I know I did.
All right, it's heading our way. Snipers, shoot on sight.